Hello, everyone. It's Parker T. Wayne here with Logan Miller, and we're
Hello.
going to be talking about the Oklahoma Fetish collection.
Yes, super excited.
I just want to get your thoughts as we're like nearing release for this project. How are you feeling about it? How are you feeling about Oklahoma Fetish kind of like from its conception into its birth?
I'm feeling really excited. I feel like this is definitely a style that I'm very new to and that I was pushing myself into to learn something new. Yeah, it feels really good, and I'm excited to release a project that we've been working hard on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's like why we started.
yeah,
We were like, let's challenge ourselves.
absolutely.
And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about like your process when you were there of like, let's collaborate and let's challenge ourselves and let's push ourselves a little bit to do something we haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where were you at as an artist to get to that, to be like prepared for that place of kind of like a growing moment for you?
I think for me, I work really methodically. Going into this project was like I felt like I needed to have some very specific lighting designs down that would complement the looks and the project. And so leading up to it, I spent a lot of time preparing for it, as I do most shoots. And that's part of my creative process that I take a lot of pride in, is my preparation and my method in which I design the lighting around the models and the looks and the aesthetic and the narrative of the concept. So leading up to the day of production was like we had that test shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and that was doing that helps me so much. Getting a test shoot down with a test model to just to see what it looks like in camera. So I have a little bit of time to make adjustments here or there, like before.
And I showed up in a
production.
look
Yeah.
to that test shoot.
A couple. They were great. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being so excited about it and it feeling this whole experience with you has made my like artistic career feel more like real. I just felt like your style is correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of polished and it's precise and it's clean. And I would not have described my aesthetic like that at all.
Yeah.
So to like meet each other where we're at and in the middle and create something where what I love about the black and white and the lighting design that we did is a lot of these looks kind of have rougher edges to them.
Mm-hmm.
And to meet it with your clean style was just something so new for me, but it made me feel more refined and it made me feel more polished. And I think that just speaks to like collaboration in general. If you're seeing and admiring someone, like working with them and getting into their headspace and them getting into your headspace,
Yeah.
is where new ideas form and how
Yeah.
you grow as an artist and as a person.
Yeah.
Anyways, it made me feel more official, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I like thank you for
Yeah.
kind of that gift of collaboration and like kind of just bringing your kind of refined style to, I don't know, I still feel like young and messy but I also think that's my aesthetic, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm kind of like, well, get that sheet over there. I'm going to tie it to her top and it's going to be a dress, you know?
Yeah.
But it's fun. And yeah, I think I would describe this collection. It's been fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me back to a place of like childlike play where I was showing up to these army surplus stores with like their Trump signs and like flags out in the front. And I was like, you know what? I'm here to just like buy that furry suit off that mannequin and just like try and make something out of it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like my process, I feel like is very playful, where you said yours is more methodic. Do you think like, could you sense any of that in our interaction with this project? Like, do you think, would you say you picked up on any of those like describers on my style?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you put it really well, like collaborating, getting into each other's like headspaces, I think is just right, because like when you're collaborating with another artist, like you have both of you have these ideas, a vision, and being able to get that out into the real world and manifest it, and translate it, communicate it to each other, and so the other person translate it how you want it to look, like is such a a dance, a back and forth of like, okay, well, let's try this. Okay, that doesn't work. Let's try this.
And I was
let's
in the
go
club.
This way.
I was dancing.
Yeah. But absolutely, I think you're right. I definitely saw that, and that's one nice thing about collaboration is when you're open to a collaborative project, kind of seeing and feeding off of the other person's creative mindset and their style and what drives them, is so important. And if you're open to that, then the project is always going to flow down this path that you might not think it would have gone, but like it always ends up beautiful.
In collaboration, there's a lot more of like, I'm trusting this process,
Yeah.
And then when that is kind of like reciprocated in a collaborator and you are trusting each other, that's when like something beautiful happens, and you're kind of just like, wow, honestly, this is not where we started, and maybe like a little different than I imagined, but it's like new to me, because we created something new and original together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about day of on like production. Honestly, being in the studio is so healing for me.
Yeah.
And in my shoots, I really want to create that feeling. And so I loved getting like the models in front of the camera and just like yesifying them and just like hyping them up and like seeing their smiles and hearing their laughs, and like as they're kind of slipping into this serious character of like the camouflage. That to me is so much fun and so healing, and kind of like, I don't know, kind of like my version of church.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, we're people gathering for this common cause, which is to create something beautiful, but like we're here to kind of create a little bit of community and have fun, but also leave feeling like good about ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope. Models in the comments section below, back me up. I just want y'all to feel beautiful and
Absolutely.
good and happy and fun, Yeah. And I feel like we did that, but tell me about that experience, like your experience of when you're on set, like what kind of mindset are you on?
I think what you said about, like affirming a model and like kind of drawing out of them the best of that person in front of the camera is super important, and it's really fulfilling, and that is a wonderful thing about like the day of production. And that's one of the reasons why I like to prepare as much as possible. That way the day of production is you have a little bit more room to play. You know what I mean? You've figured out all the stressful things. You've got it as close as you can get it. Now it's just go time, and you can free up your mind a little bit from things like the lights and the set, and maybe some of these minutia. You can free your mind up to play a little bit and to interact with your model and try and pull the best out of them, trying to get them to open up and shine and show you their beauty. And the day of production there's always going to be a little stress involved, but definitely coming to it as prepared as possible helps me to open up a little bit more. It relieves the stress, and I can interact with you, the creative director, anyone else who's there, the actors on set, and I don't know, just like open up and relate.
And that's something I'm still learning, and something that I've been learning through this process.
Yeah.
I asked, I feel like a critique that I've gained from this experience is to be better prepared, because I think I ran into that bump when it came to, like, I feel like I was working a lot more with the material and with the outfits on the models than I was working with the models, which is something I like regret in my process. Like, I wish I came a little bit prepared.
Yeah.
And so I love that you're touching on this, because this is like one of the things that I've gained from this collaboration is that this is something I need to be better at.
Yeah.
And like you're saying is, for me to have more room to create that environment that I want to create, I need to come better prepared.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been really fun to kind of go back and critique my experience in all of this, to learn of like, okay, what did I learn?
Yeah.
You know, like what could I have been better at?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, and so I'm learning that right now. So I love that you touched on that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. Like, it's, for me, it's always like trying to strike a balance of like, you know, being prepared, but also, you know, letting yourself play a little bit on set. And, you know, that's something that I struggle with, whereas like working with someone like you helps bring a little bit more of that out of me, that kind of like rough around the edges, just like, let's, you know, go a little bit off script and kind of see where this goes, you know? And so that definitely...
I be going off script.
Of
it's the tequila. I be having a good time in the studio.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like the final edit of the fashion film, I guess it's a different experience for me, because you went through the editing process, so you like touched and worked with the material so much that you probably have a very different perspective of it than I do, because for me it was like we went through our first round of edits and I kind of like had some notes, and then during like our second round of edits, like getting that back and it just kind of being like, I don't know, like the way you responded to like my kind of like directive notes was like, I don't know, like having that turnaround and then watching it again the second time, I was like, wow. Yeah, it was just like a wow moment for me, where I was like, I just was like, yeah, this is it. This is like what I saw in my head.
Yeah.
After that first round, and I just, when I'm in that zone, I just kind of start giggling and just laughing.
Yeah.
But like, what are your feelings behind kind of that final edit after working with it for so much?
I'm in love with it. I think where, and this is part of the collaboration comes in of this creative process, is like, I see things a certain way, and sometimes it's hard to you know, broaden my perspective and see things differently. And so getting the first edit to you and seeing your notes, oftentimes for me, I try and be as receptive as possible. And oftentimes for me, it's like, I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, okay, you're absolutely right. I overlooked this. I need to make this adjustment, because this is going to add to the narrative, and it's going to make a better product in the end. So definitely, like, the editing process was tedious, because we did film a lot day of production. You know, just going through and you know, kind of cherry picking all the like little tidbits here and there, you know, that looks really good. Took some time, but I think in the final edit, like, it looks amazing, and like it feels complete from start to finish. When you start it, it has this flow to it now. After you know, taking your notes from the original edit, was like giving it more of a story, and it feels good.
The superhero cut at the end, when y'all see it, y'all will know that when that happened, I like got goosebumps.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, bro, this is kind of sick.
Yeah.
Like, it has that vibe, and the like kind of like the military references and stuff, like it kind of leans towards this like action packed moment, and having that cut of all the models' faces in it kind of added like this hero edge to it, or just like this like movie edge to it that I really enjoyed. And it's just so fun to see all of their faces in the outfits, kind of, or like the pieces of the outfits together in one shot.
Yeah.
The first time you sent me the sound effects was another one of those moments where I just started laughing, because I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, I love the sound effects.
Yeah, it was, I think, a really cool touch, a cool element. Because at first you might not think it does lean more military, and you might not think of hunting, but bringing the sound effects in, like birds in the background and like wildlife, it gives you that kind of feeling of like you're in the wilderness somewhere, maybe hunting or like surviving.
Yeah, the heroic nature of survival.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm really curious to hear your perspective on this part, which is the story that I've added to the collection of Oklahoma Fetish. Like, that is a really good way to describe my perspective of what Oklahoma Fetish means to me. I just think it's interesting because Oklahoma Fetish to me is all about this reinvention of like these materials to my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what is the emerging theme of what my life is representing now, is like coming to a place of survival, but coming out on top of that place as the hero to your story, you know? And so, yeah, I love that we're fleshing this out, but I want to kind of hear a little bit of your perspective about, I don't know, I don't think we really talked a lot about what the collection was like developing and meaning to me throughout this process. I don't know if we've really talked a lot about that, except for me kind of like sending you my like statements and things that I was writing about it. Do you want to touch on that at all, about like what that process was like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely eye-opening to kind of get that perspective. You know, when you approached me about camo specifically, like it got me really interested because of and this is part of what fashion is about and has become so much over the years, is like repurposing. And a lot of fashion is trying to take what's around you and repurpose it in your own way. I think it's something, I mean, that's, in my opinion, the coolest thing about fashion is repurposing something that, you know, you might not have thought, you know, could have been a wearable garment, you know, and you put it on and you're on the runway. And another thing too, I always thought, I'm sure someone else has said this, but it's a saying that has stuck with me, is like, if they don't let you on the runway, like make your own runway type of thing.
Yes!
You know?
Amen! Amen!
So
I mean, I live for that. That is LPBP.
Yeah.
LPBP is making your own runway.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, that is encompassing the heart of what that means to me so much. And that's what happened at my debut show in October, where I came back from New York Fashion Week, and the show that I was supposed to see had like a last minute restriction and we missed it. And I like could have let myself been disappointed by that, but instead it inspired me to be like, I have to make a runway happen, because I was so close to it, you know? And I made my own runway, and it happened so quickly and so fast, but it has really been the way I've been interpreting LPBP right now. I think I have seasons of like it gaining more depth and more meaning. But it was really interesting trying to like having that feeling and trying to emulate that feeling in this collection that's like, you know, primarily digital right now. You know, it's like, how do I emulate the runway feeling in through the process of like video? The like contrast, the mix of the visuals kind of gets your heart beating the way that a runway would. And so I feel like we like successfully pulled off this thrill of the runway. I think we like brought that thrill and excitement of runway fashion to like a visual and a video format. And that makes me really excited that we were able to execute that.
Absolutely. I love the reinterpretation of camo, because you're right. I mean, it's so much of our culture here in the central United States is like, there's a huge hunting culture. There's lots of you know, like military families in this part of the world, and so being able to take those elements and repurpose them and reinvent them, you know, for your own project, for your own runway, for your own creativity, it's the coolest thing.
And it is really like what fashion is, I think. Fashion is like taking these materials, whether like whatever they may be, and purposing them into something that it like creates a feeling, you know, like whether that feeling is sexy or that feeling is regal or, you know, it's fancy or it's messy. And this was kind of just like a really raw representation of that feeling for me, of kind of redefining camouflage. And the first time I mentioned it, I wanted to talk to you about that. For me, it was not a movement yet inside of myself. It was just an idea. Yeah. And like when we were talking about collaborating, I just kind of listed off some ideas, and that one, like, I think immediately popped out to you. And it just like you pushing for that started a movement in me that is really affecting my work right now, just like my entire life, my personal style and everything. And it's just fun that like it's another thing that I gained in this collaboration was this entire movement in myself.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I love that. How, I mean, I see that often. You know, like when two you know passionate creatives come together on a project, it can often change the direction of your style, your whole aesthetic, you know, for the better. And it often does. And it's super cool to see that. I don't know, it's really inspiring to see the creative growth of other people, especially when they come together and feed off of each other. So
I have written down surprise ? As one of my bullet points. I don't remember what I was thinking about, but did you encounter any surprises in this? I think for me, my biggest surprise was like gaining this entire movement in myself of Oklahoma Fetish with, you know, when just like originally planning on doing something fashion and film together. Were there any surprises for you? Maybe small surprises, like during the day of, or anything that surprised you?
Yeah, I think working with the models, some of the models definitely surprised me. I don't know, I was very thrilled that so many of them were just so willing and open and ready to create. That was a little bit of a surprise, which I absolutely loved and enjoyed.
All of the models had a collaborative spirit.
Yeah, they did, and that was fantastic. And I love
Shout out again to the models, y'all. Hey, check out my guide on my Instagram page. Meet the models. All their profiles are tagged in it and will be tagged in the final product. But they are like really a part of this project.
They brought it.
They brought the collaborative spirit for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I don't know. Another surprise moment. You know, no matter how much I prepare, you know, there's always going to be something the day of production that like
you can't prepare for.
Yeah, there's only so much preparation you can do before you like do the thing. You know. So there's always going to be some surprises, no matter how much you prepare. Some of the lighting, you know, was a little bit difficult, and I experienced this just the other day with another shoot. It's like once you get the models there in the space, day of production, you get the models in front of the camera, you get the lights on. It's like there's always going to be a little bit of something that you have to tweak, you know, day of. And I definitely underestimated like I don't know, just like the movement and the space that we had to work with, you know? And like you were saying, like, you know, my process, like I definitely try to be a little bit more refined and tidy. And so like little things like getting some of the, like the studio, like the things that I don't want in the frame, getting them in the frame sometimes is like a little bothersome, but that's just the perfectionist in me. So that was definitely a surprise, like, you know, getting the models there and seeing the movement, seeing the visuals move, and kind of seeing, you know, how I wanted to take the shots or where I wanted to take them, you know, was a little bit of a surprise. But as I said, it's like diminishing returns. You know, there's only so much preparation you can do, you know, before the day. So.
Well, I am really excited to share it with people. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like some of the anticipation that people have been communicating to me has me really excited about it too. Yeah. I'm like, most of all, I'm super excited to show it to the models because I feel like I don't know if they really know what to expect. So I'm just excited to kind of like you know, kind of give that experience to them, and like just seeing someone else's reaction that worked closely with the project, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait to hear some of the feedback about it.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited. I think like in kind of like the fashion industry emerging more at a micro level because of social media, I feel like I feel like a lot more people are feeling empowered to like start their own thing.
Yeah.
And that's definitely how I feel. I'm like why can't I just, you know, make this happen for myself, in a sense of like I don't need to wait on a platform to pick me up. Like I'm going to be my own platform, and like interact with my community that way too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm like really excited to kind of just get to feel out the feedback of you know, where this is taking other people, because I feel like it's taken me so far, you know.
Yeah.
It's been a journey for me, and I'm just excited to see how people respond and react to it.
Absolutely. And I think that is one of my favorite parts about the creative process is finalizing a project and looking back on it and taking note of, you know, what could have been better, and taking that into the next project, because that feels like growth. You know, if you can do that, if you can look at your work and see, you know, okay, I could have made an adjustment here, you know, and certainly there's a balance to be had, right? You know, but I don't know, just being able to remind yourself of what you learned each project at a time and bring that forward with you, is really exciting to me, because I know, and this has been a big part of this, is like, this was a project that I think pushed us both like out of our comfort zone. You know, my biggest goal in this project was to do just that, to learn something new, to push myself. And I am so glad that I did that, because I learned a lot, and I'm taking that with me, you know, to the next project, and it's going to be even better. So
yeah, I was talking with an artist that I'm working for. We were talking today, and we were describing the feeling of like what's next, like after you finish a project, and then kind of getting this feeling of like what's bigger, what's better, what's next, like where can I grow again. But like that feeling as an artist is something that like reminds you, like it's like a fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
Continually like growing in that way, of being like, okay, what else can I try, and what else can I experiment with, and how else can I grow, and like what can I do bigger and better. And he told me like, yeah, that's how I feel like I know I'm going the right way. You know, I'm going the right direction if I'm still excited about doing something different and bigger or better, or like applying the things that I've learned to make something, you know, more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited because like I felt that way coming into this project, and I'm leaving this project feeling, you know, like I'm moved forward in direction, and like I'm excited to see what's next. And I like feel very proud and also very grateful that I like have made it to where I am now. And like working with you is one of those moments where I just am like, I feel really grateful to be here, and to feel like I'm moving forward, because I definitely felt just an elevation with this project. And yeah, I hope all of you guys love the heck out of it, and I hope today's conversation was fun to listen to, or entertaining, or insightful.
Hopefully it turns out all right.
Yeah. But yeah, Oklahoma Fetish is coming so soon. That could be tomorrow by the time you're watching this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to show you guys the collection, the article, and the fashion film. And yeah, stay tuned for Oklahoma Fetish coming very, very soon. Please let us know what you think. DM us or comment on the post, the video. And hope y'all get your lives right.
Thanks,
Focal
y'all.
Fetish. Yeah. See y'all later.
Cool.
How do you feel? That went.